him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-macabre, it's time for the only news that matters on Black Sabbath Sunday. And according to Guns N' Roses bassist Duff McKagan, there's one not so popular Black Sabbath album that he's a fan of. Changing their styles more than once over the decades, Black Sabbath was often met with negative reaction from both fans and critics. Wait, let me stop right there for a second. I find this very interesting about Black Sabbath. What they said, right, negative reaction from both fans and critics. I don't think Black Sabbath had really much of a negative reaction to fans till Sabotage. I know it sounds blasphemous. What are you talking about? Sabotage is their best album or one of his best albums. Yeah, but man, old school Black Sabbath fans, a lot of them stop at Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, including Ozzy Osbourne. They thought that was the peak. Anyway, let's keep reading. Although they were no strangers to bad press since the early days, all the albums eventually found their audience. Funnily enough, it seems like all the division or outright heavily criticized records eventually found their way into the listeners' hearts. Even 1995's Forbidden. Well, I don't know about that. Anyway, as far as Duff McKagan goes, he's fond of an album closer to the band's beginnings. The bassist touched up upon the matter in his recent published fan Q&A, since Duff is participating in Black Sabbath's Ozzy's final show. As you can tell, I'm reading this. This is kind of old. This was before the final show with Ozzy. And he says, since Duff is participating in Black Sabbath and Ozzy's final show, he explained how the singer has been a constant in his life since he was about 6 years old. He said, when I was a little kid, FM radio started, and I had all these older siblings, and we all had a stereo in the living room of our house, and they would play FM radio. What FM radio did then was play a whole side of a record, and it was rock, rock and roll music. So it'd be Jimi Hendrix or whatever. Among the songs, there was this expectingly one of the earliest heavy metal anthems and one of the genre's most influential songs. He said, I remember hearing Iron Man for the first time, whatever year that was, and however old I was, or thinking Iron Man was wow. It was like a cartoon thing. And what is this song? And it was kind of accessible to me. And a few years later, when I started playing guitar, I could figure that song out. And Sabbath and Ozzy just remained a constant. Going further into it, Duff also pointed out how the often criticized final album that featured all 4 original members is something that he likes. He says, I love Never Say Die, the record, which is 78. Some people kind of passed over that stuff. Furthermore, he had nothing but praise for Sabbath's Ronnie James Dio era as well. He said, and Sabbath going with Dio was a really cool period. And Ozzy going on his own, he became an icon. I think when he went solo, whatever that means, but there's certain Iggy Pop, Lemmy, Ozzy, Prince, there was these constants in rock and roll, and Ozzy remains that. All right. That was before Ozzy died, he said that. But you know what? Everybody was saying that before he died. If you were in the music, if you were into like the metal or rock or whatever, those people, whatever they said in the past, they're saying now, where there's a lot of people now that, all of a sudden see Ozzy as a god. But that's what happens when you die. But anyway, Never Say Die. Wow, what an album. Yes, very maligned. A lot of people hate that album. I've seen people say they haven't found one good song. There's not one good song on Never Say Die. And I'm saying, man, there's only one bad song on Never Say Die, if you ask me. And I should rank it, right? Let me pull it up here, but off the top of my head, let's not even pull it up. Let's see. It should be in my DNA. I should not forget anything. At the very bottom, I don't like the song Breakout. Forget that song. It's just not good for me. It's just, I don't like the horns. It's the worst Black Sabbath song in my opinion. The original Black Sabbath. Oh shit. I think the worst Black Sabbath song overall, over all the albums, including 13, and I hate that album. But I'll take anything from 13 over Breakout. Then I'll go, let's see, Hard Road. I don't dislike Hard Road, but you know what? It's not as good as the rest of it, if you ask me. Yeah, Hard Road. The only song to feature Tony Iommi on backing vocals. All right, and then I love this song, Over to You. I'm going to go with Over to You. That song rules. Then Shockwaves. That solo in Shockwaves is fucking awesome. Dirty and nasty. Love that one. All right, then let's see if I mess up here. I'll go with Johnny Blade. I love Johnny Blade. That's a badass song, which I've heard a lot of people complain. God, that shit sucks. Like, Metallica played it, and people are like, I've seen people complain going, why did they pick that song? It's the worst song on Never Say Die. They like Breakout more, but that's them. But anyway, I love Johnny Blade. Then I'll go with the title track, Never Say Die. I ain't messing up yet. I think there's 2 left. I'm going through my brain. I believe. Let's see if I'm right or wrong. You leave it in the comments below if I forgot a song. But yeah, I love Never Say Die. Actually, I think the reason I love Never Say Die so much is because I bought this album when it was brand new. And I remember Never Say Die was my favorite track when I first bought it. But then, I got deeper into it, and I found 2 songs I like more than Never Say Die. And number 2, Air Dance. What a song. An amazing song. Absolutely love it. The little jazz section in the middle. I love Ozzy's vocals. Don Airey's piano playing on it. Amazing. Masterpiece, if you ask me. And number 1, Junior's Eyes. I was floored when Guns N' Roses played Junior's Eyes. They played Never Say Die as well, I believe. They did like 2 tracks off this album. And my favorite song, Junior's Eyes. A lot of people were complaining about Guns N' Roses, how Axl sucked. I don't think he sucked during the Black Sabbath songs. When he did the Guns N' Roses song, it was horrendous. But yeah, I think they did Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Yeah, it wasn't Ozzy's level. Nobody can sing like Ozzy. You got a technically amazing singer like Ronnie James Dio, and he couldn't do those Ozzy songs like Ozzy. Nobody can. But I thought Axl Rose did a fine job with the Black Sabbath covers. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, Junior's Eyes and Never Say Die, and It's Alright. And they did all those, which is wild. 2 songs from Never Say Die. How mind-blowing is that? But anyway, but you got your haters, and I understand Axl does sound horrible. When he was doing those Guns N' Roses songs, I was like, Jesus, go back to Black Sabbath, please. But anyway, that's it for the only news that matters on Black Sabbath Sunday. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring the little notification bell. And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath and rest in peace Ozzy Osbourne. And smack 'em a god.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.